Hey, what's up guys? It's Jared from The Mystic Guy. So in this video I'm going to talk about codependency. Codependency is one of those things that's really interesting because it affects our lives so much. And a lot of things, just like anything else, it can be traced back to our childhood. What was a relationship like with our parents? A lot of people who form codependent habits or codependent relationships further on or down in their lives, they do this because the relationship that they had with their parent was essentially codependent. The parent needed something from that child, and the child unconsciously learned to give that thing to the parent always because that was the point of the child's existence. It didn't know anything else. It was just the frame of reference that it knew. Codependent patterns can be really hard to break because they start in childhood, and like anything in childhood, that's when our brain is developing. And so how our brain works is it learns something and then it forms neuronal pathways along whatever it learns. So if you learn a specific thing, how to do a job this way or that way, then your neurons are formed, or your neuronal pathways are formed, and then when you do that job again, you're going to do that job the way that those neuronal pathways formed. And every time you do that job, you etch out those neuronal pathways more. How many more times can I say neuronal pathways? I don't even think I'm saying it the right way, neuronal. But your neuronal pathways, they work like a river. So if a river first starts and it's real strong, let's say it's a stream, the more that water flows down, the more the land is going to etch out. The more that stream is going to become, it's going to become bigger, wider, and then eventually it'll become a river, and then maybe a tributary, and then it'll maybe become an ocean one day, who knows. But that's how your neuronal pathways work. The more that neurons fire down that way, the more likely those neurons are going to go down that path. So that's why these patterns that are established in childhood are really hard to break and can feel like you're kind of just going up against a wall. So if you're working through codependent patterns right now, whether in a relationship, a romantic one, or just a friendship, don't worry, you can break it. It's just going to be really hard. But there's hope on the other side. People who have codependent tendencies usually grow up in abusive families. They grow up in abusive families where their needs and their wants are neglected, and the parent thinks that their needs and their wants are more important than the child's. The parent can't see that the child is an independent, autonomous being who has needs just like it. So what happens is when the child wants something, it'll speak up for its needs, but then the parent will get upset and offended because the parent doesn't have any time for the child's needs. Essentially the child was created for the parent. So unconsciously the child learns that its needs and its wants aren't worthy, and that only the parent's needs and wants are worthy. So then naturally its focus and orientation doesn't go around the self in a healthy way, it goes around the parent. So when then you're older, you grow up and you're more likely to work for other people or do things for another person before you are for yourself. And it takes on this self-sacrificial martyrdom attitude that really isn't good for the self. And this is how energetic enmeshment happens and that codependency forms straight from the start. So a lot of people, so they can break this pattern, they'll repeat the same relationship that they have with their parent in the future so they can break that old pattern that's no longer serving them. Alright, so now that I've defined and talked about how codependency works and where it comes from, what are some signs of codependency? Codependency, the behavior is really damaging to the self. So one of the first ones that comes up is low self-esteem. What happens is that the child learns that he or she isn't worthy of attention or of having her needs met because the parent isn't really concerned about the child's needs. It's concerned about itself. You see this a lot in narcissistic families, and this gets passed down generationally. Because you were never validated as a child, then you need constant validation by every partner that comes into your life. You're always questioning your own self-worth because it was never something that was given to you in the first place. We always question the things that don't come all the time, and that's natural. That's what it means to be human. If you're told that you're going to get a cup of water every day and then you don't get that cup of water, then you question whether you're going to get a cup of water. So if you just naturally don't get love every day, then naturally you're going to question, hey, why am I not getting love every day? And then you're going to question your self-worth, and that forms an energetic pattern within you. It's completely normal. Low self-esteem can take the form of two ways. One, a person can become an underachiever, or two, they can become an overachiever. If they're an underachiever, they say, well, I'm not worth anything, I can't do anything in the world, I can't affect it in any way possible, so I'm not even going to try. On the other hand, you can go to the flip side and become the overachiever. The overachiever is the perfectionist who's obsessed with everything, self-image and being perfect in everything. They think, okay, well, I'm in risk of not being loved or having my self-worth validated, so I need to perform and achieve everything that I can all the time, so I can constantly get love and approval. And that's a really powerless state to be in, because you're not really loving yourself. You're really just abusing yourself to get love from the outside, and people see you as this perfectionist person who has it all together, when in reality on the inside you're really actually hurting and really don't want to have to be perfect all the time, because what is perfect? No one's perfect. What does that even mean to be perfect? Number two, people pleasing. Because when you were a child, a lot of the times if you wanted to speak up for your own needs, the parent would blow up because they didn't have time for your needs. They had to have their own needs met. So you learn to people please. You learn to keep it calm, You don't want that other person to blow up. They might blow up at any second, so you say, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. And this allows you to get walked all over all the time. A lot of people really get hurt because they don't know how to speak up for themselves, because as a child, whenever they spoke up, they were just met with anger, and this craziness came down upon them. So then they unconsciously learned, well, I'm not going to speak up at all. Why speak up when I'm just going to get yelled at and not have my needs met anyway? But then that attitude carries on into life. Number three, poor boundaries. You never really had a boundary established as a child with your parent. Your parents saw you as an object, emotional object, or maybe even a physical object in the cases of sexual abuse, to be used. So what happened is your boundaries get confused, and then you grow up in life and you don't know what's proper and what's not in terms of boundaries, because you never had boundaries developed in the first place. Physical boundaries, mental boundaries, emotional boundaries. You weren't given freedom or space to develop your own boundaries. Your parent could come in and get whatever they wanted from you at any time, and you just had to give it no matter what. And then you expected to go to them at any time to get whatever you wanted. And so it was this, back and forth give and take, and that's completely normal and natural to you, but it's really not healthy at all, especially when you grow up and you try to repeat this pattern over and over again with partners until you break it. Number four, caretaking. As a child, you probably took care of your parent, and you wanted them to be fixed, because if you could fix them, then that meant fixing your own reality. You were never the problem. Your parent was the problem, but you wanted to make your world better because you didn't have any of your own power at that time because you're a child. So what you want to do is you want to fix your parent. So you repeat this pattern by caretaking for everyone around you. You think that if you take care of every single person, then they'll like you, or that they'll love you, or it'll make your reality better, even when they don't even affect you at all. Number five, dysfunctional communication. Dysfunctional communication happens because when you were a child, every time you communicated your needs, your parent was annoyed, they got upset, they pushed you off to the side, and so naturally you believed that, well, there's no point in communicating anyway. So you build up this energetic wall within you that's afraid to communicate, because if you speak your truth, or you speak what's really on your mind, then they might blow up in your face and everything might go wrong. So you learn to do that with your partner now. You have a partner and you may want to say things, but you're too scared to, because you're afraid that they might blow up in your face. And lastly, dependency. Dependency really happens because of love, a lack of love. Your parent was anything but consistent in giving you self-care and love. So you think to yourself, well, you know what, I'm not worthy of love. Am I worthy of love? And you need that constant validation over and over and over again. So you depend on that person. You become dependent upon them. In the pickup field, it's called cat string theory. Whenever you approach a girl and you want to get them more on your side, or you want them to get them to like you more, you give them a little compliment and then you pull it back. And then they say, oh, they gave me a compliment. but you know, now they don't think that I'm worthy of that compliment anymore. You say a compliment and then you kind of shoot them down a little bit. Then you say another compliment and you shoot them down a bit. It's the same dynamic that we had as a child. Our parent was anything but consistent in giving us care, so we naturally question it all the time. And the more you question something, the more dependent and crazy you feel, because you don't know. Your mind is caught in that state of not knowing. Guys, codependency is really hard to break in. It's a really destructive pattern that has so many other little patterns within it. I hope this video really helps you. When I really worked through a lot of my codependent patterns, it was one of the most painful points of my life, but there's so much light on the other side. If you can break the codependent pattern and not repeat that relationship and learn proper boundaries and you know, learn independence and self-worth and self-love, if you can just break that initial codependent pattern, whether it's in a relationship or a friendship, then your life will be really different on the other side. So if you're going through a hard time or you're trying to break this pattern, break it. Do whatever you have to do. There's so many more people out there that can love you, and when you break this pattern, you really will love yourself way more, and then you'll attract relationships with people who are at a higher vibration and who match yours, who are independent, who are loving, and who aren't insecure. Alright guys, I hope this video is helpful. I wish you all the best. With light and love. Namaste. Yeah, this shirt looks nice. Fresh and new from India. Dope, son.